September 14th, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 135 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Geez, Mike, next week,
Yep.
September 21st, it's the 5th anniversary of this show.
Wow.
It's hard to believe.
It's crazy.
Really, I mean, 5 years is not really that long as far as podcasts go.
No.
There's certainly been podcasts.
It's long for us.
It's long for us.
I'm laughing because remember all of our friends, I mean all of our friends, except for maybe our wives, said stuff like, oh yeah, they'll do this.
Oh, that's cute.
They'll do it for a month or two and that'll be it. They'll, and then some of them said, oh, they'll do it for 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was thinking we'd go past 6 months.
No, I don't think so. And a lot of those naysayers don't even listen to the show. That's what they thought. Well, I'm not going to listen to it, so how far can they go?
Idiots. That's what they are. They're all. Why are they our friends?
I don't know. That's a good question. We've had Paul on the show. He doesn't listen to the show. He doesn't know how to figure it out.
He asked me about a year ago, you guys still doing that podcast? I should have just said, no, we gave it up.
Yeah, you should have. He would have felt great. He would have smiled to himself.
I made his night.
I knew it.
Yeah, I made his night.
Well, happy anniversary, Mike.
Yeah, same to you.
All right.
Hey, let's go to Vegas for our anniversary.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, hey, you know this. You found this out this last week. This last Saturday was my anniversary, my wife and I. And so we were trying to think of what to do. And, she said, well, why don't we go up to the casino? And like my head explodes, right? Because it's like, really?
Oh my God, that's the jackpot.
We had gone, a couple weeks previously, and she'd really had a good time. And we went to the buffet, and it was good buffet. So, yeah, that's where we ended up. So
what's funny is, so we had gone on Thursday night.
Yeah, right, you and I.
Mm-hmm. So we didn't go our normal Friday.
Right.
We had gone Thursday.
Yeah.
So then Saturday, I'm sitting at home and I'm like telling my wife, God, we didn't spend that much time Thursday and I've had a pretty good day. I feel kind of lucky. And she said, well, why don't you go to the casino if you want? Mm-hmm. I mean, it was late.
Yeah.
Like after 9. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, why don't you go? So I text you and say, yeah, I'm thinking about going to the casino. And you text me back, we're here.
That's right. What?
I about crapped my pants. I could not believe that.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. You ended up winning a little bit, didn't you? I lost.
Very little. Well. It was terrible.
Yeah, all right. So you actually went up to the casino, though, the week before, the Sunday right before Labor Day.
Right.
Was it crowded?
It was very crowded. Yeah. It was a pretty crowded weekend.
Were they?
Well, they were giving away cars.
Oh, okay. So not only was it a big weekend, but they were also had a big giveaway. Okay,
yeah. So there were people staying, plus they had this big giveaway. So every night on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the holiday, they were giving away a car at 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And then throughout the day, like every half hour, or maybe it was every hour, they were giving away 5 people free play.
What kind of car?
It was a Jeep.
Okay.
And it was like not a Grand Cherokee, but one of the lower end Jeeps that looks like a Grand Cherokee, but it's smaller,
Right, okay.
So anyway, on Sunday, I went in, I was getting some cash or something at the cashier, and next to me is a guy, and he's talking to the cashier, and she's congratulating him. And by their conversation, I could tell he won the Jeep the night before on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I noticed he was a 7-star player and he was signing some voucher thing. And it turns out he was getting the check for the car.
Okay, right. Because that's usually what people do, right? They get the cash equivalent or whatever they're giving away rather than actually taking the car.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Okay.
Not really. So I turned to him and I said, oh, congratulations. And we started talking. And I said, so how'd that work? And he said, well, they called my name. He went up there and they big hoopla and all this and that. And then they said, okay, they take him off to the cashier. And he said, do you want a check for $20,000?
Okay.
Or do you want a voucher for $30,000, which you can take to any Jeep dealership and buy a Jeep? Now, you can't redeem that for cash at the Jeep dealership.
Sure, right.
You can only use it towards $30,000 off a Jeep.
Okay, so they weren't actually giving away the Jeep. Did they have a Jeep there?
They had a Jeep there.
So they weren't really giving that away.
But they weren't giving that Jeep away. Now, that Jeep was listed at $31,000 something list price.
List price. Okay, so that's before tax and license and everything.
That's before tax and license.
All
that's
right.
just, and it was, it wasn't the
wasn't
top
like fully
of the line.
loaded.
No, it wasn't fully loaded at all.
Okay.
It was kind of like, maybe towards the bottom end of a Jeep.
Okay.
So the guy looked at me, he says, yeah, I took the $20,000 cash because first off, $30,000 won't get me a Jeep.
Right. Well, it's certainly not what he wants.
He wants. Right. So he said the nice ones are like in the $50,000 range. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to put $20,000 of my own money plus pay tax and license.
Yeah.
And unless you really wanted a Jeep, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So he took the $20,000.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't actually get the car. And you know what's funny is you don't get a voucher. I mean, I'd understand if they gave you a voucher and said, "Hey, go buy a Jeep between say 30 and 40,000."
Okay, right.
And then you just pay tax and license. Uh-huh. But it was a flat $30,000.
Specifically $30,000. Yeah. I wonder if he could have used some of the voucher money to pay for tax and license. I'm just speculating here, but even so,
once you buy a lower end,
that's the thing. Then you'd have to. Yeah.
Jeeps are kind of expensive. I don't know what the lower end Jeep costs. I wonder if you could take your $30,000 voucher, go to the Jeep dealership. Now they all have used cars, right?
Sure.
So could you go there and they have like a used Mercedes?
Oh, buy something other than the Jeep.
Something that's sitting there and it's on, it's 24,000 because it's got a lot of miles on it. Here's my voucher. Give me that car, pay the tax and license, and give me the cash back.
I doubt they'd give you the cash back.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Let me just guarantee that. In fact,
but you could get a pretty good used car for $30,000.
Yeah,
you could buy a $29,000 used car. A pretty nice one that didn't have too much mileage.
But again, you take the cash, right? Even if you were to take the voucher and pay tax and license on the car, you'd have to pay taxes on this prize that you won.
Right.
So on top of that.
Yeah.
So you might as well take the cash, even though it's only $20,000, so you can use some of that cash to pay the taxes.
There's got to be some way we can win on this, though. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, buy a used car from that dealership, right? Take it over to
like CarMax
and then sell it back to them for what you paid, basically, so you can get the cash.
Yeah, I don't think you'd end up with $20,000. You'd have to pay the taxes on $30,000 maybe instead of $20,000.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to have to jump through
I wouldn't want to
hoops.
have to finagle it. You're asking them, I want to test drive it first. Let's test drive it over to CarMax so I can get a quote from them. How much they'll give me for this piece of crap.
Oh, that's great. Well, how'd you do on that night then when you were at...
I won that night.
Okay, you were doing okay. Yeah, it wasn't until this last
really
Thursday
good.
that we took
this last Thursday wasn't good for us, but the 3 sessions before that, I won all 3, and I was feeling so good. And then we went Thursday, and we got there. I felt okay. How'd you feel?
Well, I felt fine. That has no bearing on how the evening's going to go.
How was your play?
My play, well, I thought I played very well, but I lost a lot.
Yeah,
so there's your answer.
So evidently something was amiss.
Something was amiss. Well, we'll talk after we finish the show. We'll talk about if we're going out this weekend at all and what the plans are.
Yeah.
So think about that while we're talking.
We'll see how raw I feel.
All right, well, we got a question from listener Michael. He wrote, I've always been curious how owners make money by racing their horses. Do they run their horses and also bet on them? Is there a purse available to participants of the races and the payout is based on order of finish? If there is a purse, where does that money come from? I understand that if a horse is good, the owners then make money on breeding fees. So are owners just playing a numbers game by running a bunch of horses, hoping they find that one diamond that can pay off in the future? So, all right, let's start out by saying that owning a racehorse is not a very good way to make money.
No, I think most people who own racehorses own them because they like horse racing.
Right. They like races. They like the animals. They like the thrill of it.
They like the thrill of it.
And it's a hobby. I mean, some people do make money on it.
Yeah.
But unless, you've got like a superstar like American Pharaoh, you're grinding it out, right? It's and or you're losing money.
Even on a horse like that, like he said, you're mostly it's stud fees and stuff that where you make the money. You're selling the prodigy basically to somebody who thinks, I'll get a great horse by mating my horse with this horse.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, all right. So some of the questions. Yes, there is a purse that is distributed among horses in the field relative to how they finished. However, not all the purse goes directly to the owners. There's a convoluted formula for how much the owner gets, how much goes to the trainer, to the jockey, and there might be other fees as well. So even though they are, winning that purse, it may not be as much as you would think.
Right. It gets divided up a lot.
It gets divided up a lot. Now, for the most part, the purse does come from people betting on the race. Horse racing uses the pari-mutuel betting system, where the track takes a percentage of all the money wagered for itself and then distributes the rest of the money to the winning bettors. So part of that percentage that the track keeps goes to the purses. Purse money can also come from other sources, such as entry fees paid by the owners for high-stake races and other places. But a lot of it just comes from the betting public.
So I would assume then when the track takes their share and they pay out some purses, they must keep enough for themselves for maintenance of the track and
there's all sorts of things. And, they're a for-profit organization, right? So it's like any other business, right? Sure, they pay off all of their expenses and, then they turn a profit.
Because, it seemed to me, and I know there have been tracks that have closed down, but it seems to me like they do pretty well.
Yeah, and they will offer bigger purses for races that they know they're going to get a lot of action on.
Right.
So, the big race, it all just kind of feeds upon itself, right?
The big stakes races and stuff, they know people are going to bet on that.
Right. So they're able to, offer a bigger purse and, in anticipation of all that.
Boy, it must be a hard job for the person who has to figure that out.
Figure out what the purse is going to be?
Yeah, has to figure out we can offer this kind of, because they know that ahead of time.
Oh, sure.
So they must, there must be somebody who says, a lot of people are going to bet on this. We can count on X millions of dollars being bet, so we're going to offer a purse of this.
Yes.
Because if they're wrong, they could take a bath, right? So it's kind of like a bookmaker in Vegas, I guess. You have to really know what you're doing.
Well, the racing secretary determines the fields for the races, so I'm pretty sure that he also has some say as far as the purse goes and sometimes the handicapping. So
that's the person who actually has got a lot of responsibility. I'd say that person's probably
it's
paid
huge.
pretty well by a track.
I would think so, yeah. Now, do owners bet on their own horses? Well, it depends. In general, if they are betting anything, it's not a lot because, if their horse is in a race, they'll probably win at least part of the purse, if they finish like 4th or 5th or something like that. So why risk extra money that might result in them actually losing money
right? Unless you were really sure your horse was going to win.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
So, no, I would say horse owners are not handicappers by profession. They're not making their money because, that's where the purses come from, right? Is the public. And now suddenly they're paying for their own purse. It's so, yeah. I imagine it happens everyone. Certainly, if you're in the Kentucky Derby, you're putting down some money on your horse.
Of course.
Yeah. And then are owners just playing a numbers game by running a bunch of horses, hoping they find that one diamond that can pay off in the future? In many cases, yes. But, keep in mind that now, according to Steve Zorn, who's the racing manager for Castle Village Farm, only 2/3 of thoroughbreds actually start even one race. And only half of all thoroughbreds ever win a race.
Right, and that's just win one race. Because there's some that won, they win their maiden race and they never win again.
Right, yeah. That's a lot of upkeep for a lot of horses.
Yeah.
Right? Your medical expenses and boarding expenses, food, training, transportation.
Right. I imagine medical expenses are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Feed is a lot. I have a patient who boards horses. She said most people default on their horse. They bring her a horse, they keep it for a few years, and then they just abandon them because it's so much to feed them and keep them up. Here in San Diego, there's no graze land because it's dry. So you constantly have to give them hay and feed them and water them, and it just costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it's just too
much.
much.
And if you don't use it, she said people abandon them all the time.
And you're talking about medical expenses too. Some owners go a little overboard on that.
Right.
Trying to dope them up as much as is legally allowed, but maybe just going overboard. And you talk about expenses there, right?
Yeah.
So
and then there's paying off the jockeys and paying off track officials.
Yeah, right.
Things like that. There's a lot of payoffs involved in horse racing.
There's a lot of payoffs. Yeah. Well, they actually do pay the jockeys now. Now I know you're talking about payoffs.
Yeah,
but the jockeys do get legitimate pay.
No, paying the jockey, you pay him his fee, and then you give him a little extra to
maybe hold back on this. Right. All right. Let's not get into that. All right, because that doesn't happen. But back to the initial question: how do owners make money by racing their horses? Most don't. Right? About the only way you're guaranteed to make money on a horse is by selling it. Right. And you may not make a profit on it, right? So breeding, there are different ways to go. So.
And I think it really is true. You're basically looking for that diamond in the rough. It's like any gambler, right? You're just waiting for that big roll. They're just waiting for that one horse that comes along that's Secretariat.
Sure.
And if you do, it's fame and fortune, and you could probably retire on one great horse.
Sure, right. Yeah. It's an elite hobby. is really what it comes down to.
Right.
Sure, it's a business, but it's not a business that people undertake to make a lot of money.
Right. It's like owning an NBA team or, I mean, seriously, it's an elite business.
It's an elite business.
Usually they're making their money somewhere else unless your name's Dean Spanos, and then you're relying solely on your team for money.
I don't know if that comparison's completely accurate. I think the owners of NBA teams, NFL teams, I think they're doing okay.
Yeah, I think they're doing okay.
All right, yeah.
Right? But some of them are like owning dead horses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you own the Clippers, that's a dead horse.
That's true. You own the New York Jets.
Yeah,
that's a dead horse,
that's a dead
horse. Well, good. Thanks for the question, Michael. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's go on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Ryan, and this phone call got a little messed up somehow. I edited it down, but I think you'll get the gist of it.
All right.
Hey guys, it's Ryan from Ontario, California again. I called you a couple days ago, told you about my Vegas trip and coming back from Vegas. Well, I'm getting ready to actually move out to Vegas from Southern California here. So I wanted to go gamble at Morongo Casino. I've been gambling there since I was 18 years old because it's the 18 and older casino. So I wanted to go back to the place where it all started for me. And that's out towards Palm Springs. You guys probably know where it's at. I doubt you go there because there's no craps. Okay, but I was there playing. Me and my buddy are playing on a $15 double deck blackjack table, and we noticed that the dealer is they hold their cards up by their body, and the next card you can see what it is. So we start playing. Our bets are the next card to give ourselves a chance, but definitely not playing by the book how we usually play. But we didn't want to call any attention to ourselves from that tip-off because I know the consequences of that. So, a guy comes and sits down and he notices the same thing that the guy is, playing. When he started, he was only betting, $5-10, and then he noticed that he could see the next card. So all stuff, and he's doubling down on 19s. He's doubling down on 20s because he could see an ace underneath. And so obviously he, caught the attention from all the pip bosses, and they called him over. So we stopped playing because we didn't want to get caught with that. So they call him over, and they're talking to him. They're arguing back and forth, and I could just hear him say, well, it's your dealer that's showing the cards every time. And I said, oh, dude. Just thinking to myself, but you just sold yourself out. Before you could have said that's the way you played blackjack, but you just sold yourself out. So, thing I know, security's over there escorting him out of the building, and they switched dealers, switched cards. So we got out of there. We ended up making money on it, which is good, but we didn't get busted for that. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
This is the most stupid thing this guy could have done.
Yes.
Let's say that instead, as soon as he saw a card, he just immediately said, oh, I can see your card. You're showing your card.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, that's a little aggravating, but maybe he morally felt like he had to say something.
Right. Well, the casino acts like that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, excuse me. I can see your whole card here. You might want to hide that better, and I'm going to stay on my, 17, even though I can, know that the next card's a 4. I mean,
that's the stupidest thing is he's hitting 19. I mean, what does he expect is going to happen?
Right.
Right. You don't, if your idea is to win money, don't expect to make crazy moves like doubling down on 19 and 20
right.
and not get a little heat.
Right.
So instead, okay, yeah, you've got a 17 and you see there's a 4 there. Well, you don't hit.
Right.
Right. Because nobody hits a 17.
Right.
An 18 and a 3's there. You don't hit.
Right.
Right. You look at look at Ryan and his buddy and you kind of grin and you just keep going.
Well, what you're waiting for is when you have 12 and you see that the next card's a 10.
Yes,
and then you stay because people do that all the time.
Sure,
it's like, I got a hunch. You don't have it.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to risk busting. I just don't feel good about.
Or you just say, you could even announce it like, I got a feeling you've got a 6 under there. So that would make sense. Hitting 19, that's a little strange.
It's just you don't think you're going to get attention.
Yeah.
Well, as the dealer was showing the card. All right.
Although
thank you.
I have to defend the guy. I mean, it is true. If the dealer is the one actually screwing up, the casino shouldn't throw him out.
No, I agree.
They should say, you shouldn't do that. And we're going to get a new dealer here to cover their cards.
I will agree with that. It's not worth, them throwing him out.
Right.
But again, I still think this is the most stupid of his options.
Right. I mean, the casino probably can't go back and retrace everything, but what they should do is just change dealers or tell the dealer, hey.
And that is what they did once they figured out what was going on, or even if maybe they didn't figure it out, that he just told them, right?
Don't throw him out. Let him sit there and get your money back.
Yeah,
right. That's what I would do if I was the pit boss.
Yeah. Well, anyway, at least Ryan and his buddy got out there unscathed by the whole thing. So, well, good luck on your move to Vegas, Ryan. I don't think I could do it.
No, I could never do that. Never in a million years.
All right, let's hear from our good buddy Jay.
Hey, fellas, this is Jay from California, Jay and Kelly. Just want to give you guys a heads up where I'm heading out solo to Vegas Vacation 5 right now, and I just heard you guys for the last hour. And again, just want to thank you guys and appreciate the work you guys do because, man, it helps out, especially with the 6-hour drive. It helps out. And don't worry about me. I got my 6 podcasts set up in a row, and I'm ready to go. I'm already past halfway there. But I was just listening to the last show, and, I've always thought about stopping at that State Line Casino, and I believe that's the one with the roller coaster. And I think I'm going to go ahead and stop in, and I'll give you guys a little report on how it goes right now. But, yeah, I've always been interested in that place, and so now I got nothing but time. I'm running early. I don't have to check in till 1, so things are looking for the upswing right now. I'll go kill an hour, and I'll give you guys a call back.
You ever been on that roller coaster, Mike?
Yes, I have.
That's a good one, I think. It's a big drop.
Remember, we all went, and there was a big...
No, I wasn't with you on that. I've only been on once, and it was with some relatives on a family trip.
Didn't we stop there at State Line once? I don't think you went on it, but a couple of us did.
Okay, maybe because I'd already been on it. Yeah, it's a good roller coaster, I think.
It's a
good
roller coaster.
Yeah.
That place isn't always open.
That's true, too. Yeah, well, sometimes, depending on the weather, they don't open it at all.
Yeah,
right. And not just because maybe it's raining. Maybe it's just too hot.
It's just too hot, right.
Well, you want to hear how Jay did?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, you got to wait till the end of the show. That's how it works now, right? So.
Well, I hope it's good. No, don't disappoint me like last time. Oh, wait, and I'm thinking, it's going to be some great story.
I can't predict the future. There's nothing I can do. All right, next call.
You're not a fortune
teller.
Hi,
this is listener Daniel from Anaheim. I just wanted to thank you so much for putting on this show. I found your podcast a couple months ago, and since then I have completed all of the Crappy Logo episodes. I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of your latest episodes and hopefully meeting you at Harris, Southern California sometime soon. Thank you again for all your work, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye.
Nice. Thank you, Daniel.
I
appreciate the call.
Come out to Harris, Southern California. One free well drink.
Yeah, you may even get more than one if I know Dr. Mike.
You'll probably get a few more.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from Ryan. A different Ryan.
What's going on, guys? This is Ryan calling you from Fontana, California. Thought I'd give you a call. I just had my first visit to your home casino, Harris, Southern California. And I was playing the $25 Baccarat. And right next to us, the table next to us, the Payout Progressive, a woman hit it. She hit the jackpot. $221,000. Since it's your casino, you probably might have heard this already. I don't know. But she looked like she was a regular. A lot of the people that were talking to her afterwards, some of the workers there, just by watching them interact with her, it seemed like they knew her already. She was a regular. But good for her, man. I didn't even walk over to look at exactly what hand or what bet she hit on the Payout table, but it was that Progressive one. $221K. Not a bad haul. For me, I just kind of hung out a little bit with the Blackjack and didn't get to really mess around with the craps too much, just kind of watched. But man, I wish I was on that Payout table. I wish that was me. That's about it for right now, guys. I got a Vegas trip coming up pretty soon. I'll let you guys know how that goes. But I did cash in on the Mayweather fight. I threw $400 on him, just doing 80. 20% return, better than nothing, right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, that was a smart bet.
That was a smart bet.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
So, yes, this $221,000 jackpot. Now, it turns out our friend Mary happened to be there that same night. She came to cards and said, "Oh, the other night somebody won." So
she's probably sitting on the table with Ryan. They didn't even know it.
Maybe, although Ryan said he was playing Baccarat. So I don't think Mary would have been playing Baccarat.
No, Mary was Payout.
But Mary was right. Mary said it was actually at an Asia poker table, which is very similar to Payout poker, except it's 3 hands and you play against the dealer. But the jackpot is exactly the same. You get 7 cards. Okay. It's a $1 bet.
Yeah.
So she won $221,000 on a $1 bet. and you win the bet if you're dealt a 7-card straight flush.
Now, I wonder, do they take taxes out right away on that, or what's the deal?
Well, with that, you get a W2G, and they take taxes out, yes.
They'd have to take it out right away.
Yeah, it's just like when we got paid on the fire bet in Las Vegas, right? So something like that.
Yeah, that's 20,000, not 221.
Yeah. So yeah, the woman who won was a regular.
Is a regular.
Yeah. In fact, Mary recognized her, and so and everybody was talking to her, so she definitely was a regular there. Well, we went to the casino the week after, and one of the dealers said that about a week after she won the jackpot, she got hit by a drunk driver.
Right.
The car accident.
Real bad car accident. Yeah.
Now I guess she's okay. I didn't really hear. We're getting this secondhand, but
she didn't say anything about her being her demise or anything like that. She just said she was in a real bad car accident.
Yeah, and so it was like, oh well, that's karma. Well, no, it's not karma. First of all, that's not how karma works, right?
Yeah, karma works the other way.
You could say that, oh well, but good luck, it's followed by bad luck, which is just as ridiculous, but it makes for a good story.
Yeah, so. Well, everyone knows drunk drivers are attracted to big winners.
That's right. Yeah,
that's why I don't win, Mark. That gets us home.
You're looking
safely.
Out for yourself. I appreciate that, Mike. Now I understand.
I want you to get home safely.
It finally has been revealed. Okay. All right, we're going to hear from Ryan a little bit later too. All right, let's hear from Paul.
Hey guys, this is Paul from LA. I was curious about something that's never happened to me, but I hope will. Let's say I'm at the craps table and I go on a run and I win 10 grand over my buy-in. Do you know how that would affect my taxes? I can't imagine that we would fill out a tax form if you went up that much just on making 8 or 10 passes and hitting some numbers. I think the fire bet and the all tall, all small would be different. But do you know how that would, how you'd handle that? Let me know. Thanks.
Yeah, good question. First of all, let's say, if you win a lot of money, be sure to pay your taxes.
Right.
All right. So regardless of whether you get any kind of forms or anything, if you win, pay your taxes. Now, maybe you can offset it with losses, check with your accountant, but pay your taxes.
Okay.
All right. Now
stop winking.
All right. Okay. So now, if you are making just regular wagers on table games, so we're talking just, the normal wagers at craps, blackjack, roulette.
You've got a $3,000 6, a $3,000 8.
They will not issue you a tax form. So
nor will they report your winnings to the IRS.
Right. So if you say you started with, let's say you started with $10,000 on the pass line.
Right.
Right. And you won $10,000. That's an obvious example. But what Paul is saying is, let's say I started with, $25 on the line and kept pressing it up, or maybe even at a blackjack table, I started with $25, and by the time I was done, I had my bets up to like $1,000 each. No, they will not issue you a form. The only time you will get a W2G on a table game is if the wager that was won pays at 300 to 1 or more, and the payout is more than $5,000. In that case, they will fill out a W-2G and take out the taxes.
Obligated to fill out a W-2G and take out the taxes.
Yeah. But the regular bets at table games, they don't have that high an odds payout, right? If you're at a craps table, the highest payout is 30 to 1.
Right.
If you're blackjack, it's just even money, or maybe, 3 to 2. And even at the roulette table, 35 to 1.
Right.
So, no, the answer is no, you will not get a W-2G.
It's kind of like a few episodes back where you got your aid up to like
$2,400.
$2,400. Had it hit there, you would have gone to $3,000, the table max. And let's just say for kicks that hit 3 more times. Right. Well, there you've just won over $10,000 on that 8.
And I started it at $30.
And you started at $30. So, but it's fine. I mean, it's just all winnings. I mean,
that's right, because I'm making a $3,000 wager.
Right.
I'm no longer making that $30 wager, even though that's where it started.
Right.
When I get to that point, that's my money, and I'm making a $3,000 wager.
And they're under no obligation to report anything. You should report your winnings and offset it with your previous losses.
Right, if applicable. Again, check with your accountant.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how that works. I like the way Paul started his question. He started by saying he was curious about something that's never happened to him, but he hopes will.
Right.
Boy, I mean, how many times have I started a sentence like that?
That's why we gamble, my friend.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of things that haven't happened to me that I'm just praying one day will happen on a gambling table.
Yep, I understand.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, we did hit those fours when we got it to the
We
table
hit all those
max.
fours. We have hit the fire a couple of
and
times.
we've hit the fire, but God, we need to get something to the table max again.
I know.
I can't tell people out there what a thrill that was.
Yes.
Because you're like at the max.
You're at the max at Caesar's Palace. This is when 5,000 was the max. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're at State Line, the max is $300. I mean, I could max out every number, right? But, it was at the max and it hit.
I know, Mike.
It was like, oh my gosh, it just hit.
I know, I was there.
That is actually more exciting than the fire bet.
Absolutely, because it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, and it's still there to win again, right?
And it
when
stays
the fire bet hits, it's like, oh, it hit, you're all excited, but it's not going to hit again, right? I mean, you can't, on the same shooter, you can't win the fire bet twice.
That's right.
But that 4 could have, I just kept it, come up one more time, just one more time.
Yep, I know. All right, let's hear from Brian.
Hey guys, Brian from Southern California. You mentioned Gene, Nevada and the Gold Strike Casino. I have a story. My wife and I stayed there a long time ago. It had to have been the late 90s. Back when Primm was called State Line, back when there was still a second casino in Gene. We stayed at the Gold Strike. We were actually going to, there's an archaeology site near there, so we wanted to stay closer that evening. And it was the one night of the year that it rained in Death Valley, and the roof of our room leaked. We had asked for a king bed. There were no king beds left. They told us every room was taken except one. So we were there with 2 double beds or queen beds or whatever it is, a leaking roof that leaked on one of the small beds, fortunately not the one we were sleeping in. We got to the room after check-in, and every light in the room was dead. None of the bulbs worked. So I called downstairs thinking, hey, we've just come from Vegas. I think we've been staying at the Venetian or something. So I was used to service. I call. I need some bulbs in my room. A few minutes later, there's a knock on the door. A guy hands me a light bulb and walks away. Yeah, so needless to say, I flip that place off every time I drive past. Have a good day, guys. Love the show.
Now, I hope that when he said archaeological site near there, I hope that was a euphemism for prison. The prison that's by there.
It could have been. Yeah,
and that's why there were no bulbs in the room.
They were visiting. They were visiting an inmate.
Prison.
Yeah. Speaking of the Gold Strike, I did find out since our last episode, Batmobile no longer there.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Sorry, I can't.
No reason
that.
to go there.
Yeah.
Now, when he was there was the casino across the other side of the highway.
Yes.
What was that called?
Oh, off the top of my head, I don't know. I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
I can't remember.
They tore it down, and
there is no sign of it now. When you drive by, it's just desert.
I know, it's amazing.
I mean, they didn't leave any foundation. There's not a sign. There used to be a big casino here. Nothing.
Yeah. Do you remember, Mike? One trip we took to Vegas years ago. We were driving there, and we hit State Line. I think it was after midnight. And we looked at each other and we said, let's not drive into, we didn't have a room yet.
Yeah.
Let's not drive into Vegas and try to find a room and pay more because we're so exhausted. Let's just stop here at State Line, get a room, sleep, and then we'll just wake up and we'll continue on to Vegas. We won't even play here. Remember that?
How'd that work for us?
So what was it? Like 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
The loud alarm, like a fire alarm or something.
It was like some kind of fire alarm. I remember that. Yeah.
And then it stopped. There was never an announcement. There was no fire.
And I just remember laying there thinking, is the casino burning down?
Yeah,
I mean, should we move?
Do we really need to get up? I'm
should we get up or not?
It stopped. We didn't get up, and we're alive to tell the tale. So
I don't know why. That was the fun. I distinctly remember that, just sitting there thinking, oh, come on. Do I have to put my pants on and go downstairs and see if the casino's burning down?
Exactly. All right. Next call, Joe.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Joe calling from Los Angeles. Just wanted to call in with a quick trip report from a casino I went to in Seattle called Muckleshoot Casino. We were in town for a wedding and then our fantasy football draft that weekend. So on our way out there, I took 2 of my buddies to the casino and introduced them to craps. They played for the first time. And they couldn't have been more opposite people. One does sports statistics for a living, and the other one was betting just on his intuition and gut feelings. So one of them really enjoyed the math and the numbers of it, and the other one was just kind of throwing bets out willy-nilly. I started them off with just some basic pass line and odds rules, and they kind of got going on that without too much luck. But then I talked to him about the hard ways and how that works, and my friend with the gut feeling just kind of threw $5, which was the table minimum, out on he called it a hard 12, so put it on the box cars. Didn't have time to tell him that you didn't have to put the minimum on the hard ways and that the 12 was only a one roll bet. But luckily, came out box cars. He was thrilled with that. He also liked that he won his field bet, which he told me later he actually meant to put in the cum box, so another mistake there. But he got paid off on it really well. So he was pretty happy with that and immediately cashed out, tipped the dealers, and left. Muckleshoot Casino is interesting. It's actually kind of two casinos, one that has smoking and one that's non-smoking, and they're joined by a hallway with the cashier in it. So I thought that was interesting, and it was actually the first tribal casino I've been to that has real craps. So overall, a good experience, and I would definitely go back there if I'm in Seattle again. All right, thanks again for the podcast. It's always great to listen to, and looking forward to the next one. Thanks. Bye.
I got one question.
What's that, sir?
Why in the world do we go to boring name casinos? Muckleshoot.
I knew you were going to say something. I knew that you were going to love that.
Muckleshoot Casino. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we go to, Harris Southern. It's funner. I mean, rename the place Muckleshoot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Harry Potter themed Muckleshoot Casino.
That's right.
I mean, God.
That's right. The stick man actually uses a wand to bring the dice in. I like the idea of, smoking and non-smoking, if they're really separated like that.
Right.
I wonder if there's the same type of gaming in both areas.
I would
if you wanted to play
imagine.
craps, you could do it smoking or non-smoking. But that's
No,
nice.
Craps guys are non-smokers.
I don't know about
Smokers
that.
would be like the Baccarat people. Big
Okay.
money.
All right. Well, maybe so. Yeah. With the big stogies.
I'll take the player.
Yeah.
God, we just got to get better. We got to start going to better name casinos.
All right. Well.
I mean, I'd love to call some show and say, I went to Muckleshoot Casino.
That's right.
And
Well,
it's Muckle.
We're Mohegan Sun, right? You like Mohegan?
I like Mohegan.
It's coming up.
I've always liked Mohegan.
Yeah, all right.
But Muckleshoot, I
All
mean,
right.
it's like, we play poker here. Do we muck our cards? Muckleshoot.
Right. Are you
Who
done?
named that?
Are you done?
I'm going to say that all night.
Okay,
I love
good.
that.
Just say it all the way home. All right.
I'm going to get pulled over by some cop and I'm just, Muckleshoot. I'm going to get thrown in jail.
Step out of the car, please, sir. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. I have a question about a craps table here at the local Jack Casino in Cincinnati. They offer up to 20 times odds, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how much to bet. It seems like every time I put a bet out, the dealers are telling me that I'm putting out the wrong change, and, like 6 and 8, I try to do multiples of 6, and I don't know. It just always seems wrong, and I was wondering if you could give a quick rundown. The tables are usually a $15 minimum with 20 times odds, and I just can't figure it out. Love the show. Going through the back catalog right now. Keep up the good work.
All right, so here's what you need to know, and you just need to memorize this. And this is regardless of what the table minimum is, regardless of how much they'll let you take in odds, double odds, 3, 4, 5, 20 times odds. You just have to memorize this. If your point is 6 or 8, you need to bet a multiple of 5 for your odds, because the payoff is 6 to 5.
Yeah.
So if you
it sounded like he was getting place bets and
could be
odds
that's
bets
right, because what you
confused.
bet on the place bets are different.
Multiples
right,
of 6,
mhm,
yeah. But for the pass line, multiple of 5
for the 6 and 8. And if you don't bet a multiple of 5, they can't pay you correctly, and of course they're going to round down.
Right.
So the 5 and 9, if 5 or 9 is your point, then you bet a multiple of 2 for your odds. And if the point is 4 or 10, you can bet anything, because the payout is 2 to 1.
Right.
It's 3 to 2 on the 5 and 9. I didn't say that. So anyway, 6 and 8, multiple of 5, 5 and 9, multiple of 2, 4 and 10, anything.
And at this casino, since they have 20 times odds, you can go up to 20 times your pass line bet.
Right.
So if your pass line bet was a $5, you could bet up to 100.
Right.
100 it's a multiple of 5, it's a multiple of 2, it's a multiple of anything.
That's right. Yes.
So, that would be
easy. Although 20 times odds is, I think, too steep for most gamblers.
Most people,
so,
And you're probably going to want to take 3 or 4 times odds. If you're just betting $5, just multiply by 4, and $20 would work in every case too. It's a multiple of 5. It's a multiple of 2.
Yes,
and
that would also work if you didn't want to think about it. Yeah, just do it that way. Yeah, That's a good point. So the caller actually had another question. He called back with a question. He actually called 2 times because in his first call, he made a mistake on a pay table and he called back to mention that, I made a mistake. Anyway, rather than playing those calls, which be kind of convoluted, I'm just going to paraphrase here what he was getting at. So he receives free play at the casino that he frequents.
This is in Cincinnati.
Jack's Cincinnati Casino.
Okay, so that's kind of funny.
I guess so.
I kind of like that, but I mean, it's not as funny as Muckleshoot.
That's right. And I don't remember if he said he was getting the free play for Jack Casino, but anyway, here was his question.
He's got some free play.
He gets the free play in slots. It's slot play. Right? So you can't use it at the table. He wanted to know which was better to play, either a 7-5 jacks or better machine or a video blackjack machine, which uses 2 decks and pays only even money on blackjack.
Okay.
So again, jacks are better. When we say 7-5, that refers to the pay table. That means on 1 coin in, it pays 7 for 1 on a full house and 5 for 1 on a flush.
Right.
What you really want to find is a 9-6. Jacks are better. That's full pay.
That'd be full pay.
7-5
hard to
is
find though. 7-5 isn't bad for most casinos.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know if I'd agree with you that it isn't bad, but it's common.
It's common.
Yes.
That's what I mean. It's not uncommon to find only that in a casino.
Right. So here's what it comes down to, his specific question. The 7-5 jacks or better has a 3.9% house edge, approximately 3.9% house edge.
Okay.
The blackjack machine he's talking about, 2 decks, blackjack pays even money, 2.7%, about a 2.7%.
Yeah, so much better to play the blackjack.
So better to play the blackjack, in this case, if those are your 2 choices.
Empirically, you'd think that would be the case anyway.
I would think so because blackjack has a pretty small house edge with good rules to begin with. And even though this is terrible, you shouldn't be playing any real blackjack game that's 2.7%.
Right.
But, if these are your choices to get through the free play, then go with the blackjack.
Right. You think about that, it's still not bad, even 3.9%. So if they give you $100 free play, over the long haul, you can expect to get, $96 back. So that's pretty good on free play. That's real money you turn into.
Okay, a follow-up call from Ryan.
Hey guys, this is Ryan from Fontana. Calling you guys once again. It was about a week ago or so that I called you right after I was at the Harris, Southern California. Anyway, I ended up going the next week to Vegas, week 1 NFL. Funny story, man. We stopped at a state line on the way up and shot some craps at Primm Valley. And my friend was going through a pretty good roll. And there were a couple of rolls where he didn't hit the back wall. So they were being nice about it. Like, make sure you hit the back wall. And the thing was, the dice, they just weren't bouncing very well for some reason. They were just kind of dying, just not scattering much when they hit the table. So anyway, I joked with them like, oh man, it's like there's magnets here. Just joking, we're both laughing back and forth. The very next roll, my buddy throws it, and both dice just they just die. They just land flat, almost like they land in concrete. They didn't roll at all, just double belly flop. Maybe 2 feet away from the wall. It was just hilarious. And I was just like, you see that? We got to call the gaming commission. It was just being able to see what happened with it. I had a good little run there because it was the first time. It was so early in the morning, about 5:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning, so no one was really there. And I got to play the don't. I got to get the dice and throw the don't. And I had so much luck with that. My buddy was hitting points, and when I got the dice, I played the don't. And that's how we made our money, man. I turned my $100 into about $350, and then we went on our way to Vegas. That was my first time doing the don't, and being an empty table like that, it felt all right doing it. I didn't feel like I was bothering nobody. So I think 7 out of 9 points, I got the 7 to add on. So it made me some money, and I got my first time doing that. So that was cool. Just thought I'd let you guys know about that. Football season, man. Let me hear you guys' picks on the next episode. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Well, I'll just pass this along to you, Mike. I have nothing to say about the NFL
nothing to
season.
say about the NFL.
But any thoughts?
Well, I think it's, it comes down to the usuals, right?
The usual teams?
The usual teams. I mean, you can count on, New England being good. Mm-hmm. It looks like Dallas is going to be pretty decent. Looks like Pittsburgh's going to be okay. The same old usual. Seattle's going to be good, I think.
Okay.
As far as the AFC West,
I have no interest in that because there's no team that I know of that I support that's in the AFC
but
West.
it is a division in football.
Oh, okay.
So
all
I'm
right.
gonna say-
You just picked a random
I just
division.
picked
Go
a
ahead,
random
Dr. Mike.
division. I'd say take the Raiders and Kansas City. Watch out for them. But Denver and Chargers are going to be.
Yeah, that game
bottom
the
of
other
the
night,
barrel.
it wasn't all that good, and
No.
it ended just like it would normally end for a Chargers fan.
Yeah.
I don't know any Charger fans, though.
No,
so,
there's none left here in San Diego. There are NFL fans, though, like me, that watch every game. And, oh, by the way, I did win the football pool.
Oh, that's
week
right.
one.
First week, the
one.
hardest week to pick it.
Last year I won first week.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I didn't even
I
remember.
won 3 of the first 4 weeks last
That's
year.
right. It came
remember?
down to a tiebreaker. You
Yeah.
actually had the high end of the tiebreaker score, so
yeah.
you won.
Well,
yeah.
you got to go high with Chargers Denver. I mean, neither
that's
team
right.
can play defense.
Yeah,
so.
all right. Well, very good. Congratulations for that.
We'll see how this second week goes.
That's good. Well, we have some more calls, but I think we'll save them for
What about
next
Jay's
time.
follow-up
Oh, that's
call?
right. We got to hear about Jay's follow-up call.
I don't want to wait
about
a week
State
or
Line.
2
Boy, we're
weeks.
getting all this information about State Line and Jean, Nevada.
State Line's the place to go. Let's not fly to Vegas. Let's just drive. Stop
so
at
we
State
can go
Line.
to State Line. All right, you lost me.
Well, Baker. There's Baker too.
Yeah, that's always good. That's where Bun Boy used to be.
Yeah.
There's a Bun Boy there.
Right.
I understand
Yeah,
there's...
he stopped. He doesn't do a show anymore.
Oh, he doesn't do it anymore?
No, he doesn't do it anymore. There's no more Bun Boy
There's
and
no more
Baker.
Bun Boy. All right. Okay. All right, Jay, how'd you do?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Jay from California here again. Just calling with the trip report from Buffalo Bills. The State Line Casino with the roller coaster. I can't remember what it's called. It was actually pretty neat. My main stop was to go and try and ride the roller coaster, but I guess it didn't open till 12. And on the same note, their craps tables didn't open till 12. Well, the regular size crap tables. I went and played, bought in for 200. I cashed out with 500. And it was just different because I was playing on a little table.
The boat.
A short table,
Tub.
kind of
Tub.
oval.
The tub.
I'd never played on one of those before, and it was kind of good because I was setting dice on a hard way set, and I was hitting a lot of hard ways and hitting our points. And so, first time ever seen that. Not bad. Won $300. Time to go enjoy Vegas, guys. Really wish you guys were coming out this week, but really looking forward to the next show anyway. Hope you guys have some good luck on your guys' summit trip. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
What a great feeling, right?
Yeah.
You're on your way to 360 Vegas Vacation 5. You're not in Vegas yet. You stop, you win
some money.
and then you continue on to Vegas. You're already up.
Yeah.
Great feeling.
That's a good
Yeah.
feeling. I like that tub too. I've always
Do you
kind of
like
liked
the tub?
playing in the tub.
You know, Mike, it's funny because we've talked about it a few times. I don't know that I've ever played on a tub. I know
Really?
you have.
Oh, I've played. Yeah.
Boy, back in the old days, remember the marina?
Yeah, the marina.
That was the
had-
first place I ever saw
Yeah,
it.
they had one.
But I didn't play.
you know, they had one right here in San Diego, Viejas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They had a little tiny craps table. I
Oh,
mean, it was
okay.
like the tub.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a little
Yeah.
tiny thing. When they first
When they
started, I don't
first
think
started,
they
yeah.
have that anymore.
No,
that
I
know
haven't
of.
seen that when
Yeah.
I've been out there. Right. All right. Well, so speaking of the summit, it's coming up here soon. We're about
Yes.
a month away. And Hunter...
Less than a month.
I know. Hunter has actually started a podcast for the summit. It's called Summitcast. And I checked today. It's on iTunes. So just do a search on Summitcast. He's already released one episode with Misnomer as his guest. Misnomer is going to be the MC at the main event at the summit. And on the next episode, he's going to have Tim and Michelle from 500, and then I think one more episode with Misnomer. So there's going to be a total of 3 episodes before the summit. Yeah, we're a little less than a month away. I think on the last episode, I may have said weekend of October 12th, which is actually the Thursday that we're getting there.
The 13th.
So
is the
technically,
weekend.
the weekend of the 13th. So yeah, looking
Well, it
forward to
depends
that.
on when your weekend starts. Some people
Yeah.
that might be Tuesday.
That's right. So it'd be the 10th.
Yeah.
October 10th. Yeah.
If that's your weekend. I mean, it
That's right.
depends on how much you're drinking.
Yep, that's right. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Vince, he said it's a karma donation. Thanks for the awesome content. Thank you, Vince. Also, donations from Brian, George, and Al. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love to get your feedback. All right, Dr. Mike, what do you have for us at the end of the show?
Well, I'm excited about football.
Okay.
I know you're less than excited.
I watched it. I watched all day Sunday. I watched it.
I am really excited about this year.
All right.
Because we don't have the Chargers.
I know.
So.
Actually, it's funny you say that. It's a little more relaxing.
It's a lot more relaxing. I mean, I'm like, I'll watch the game just like any other NFL game, but I don't feel like I have to watch the game.
Yeah.
So if I have other stuff to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because, we don't have a team anymore here in San Diego. Thank you, Dean Spanos. But so excited about that. Excited about going to Vegas. Excited that we kind of broke out of our slump a little bit.
That's right. We did. Yep.
Anyway, I'm just looking forward to all the good fun. And we've got the Breeders' Cup coming up.
Oh, that's right. We're going to the Breeders' Cup. That's right. The first weekend in November.
First week in November. And that's not that far away either.
I know. Oh, my gosh. That's right.
Basically like a month and a half away.
Yeah,
6 weeks away.
Yeah.
So we've got that coming up. And then all the holidays are coming up. And then, before you know it's going to be April.
That's right. And it's going to be your birthday. And then it's going to be, you're going to Horseshoe, Indiana. And then April, we're heading out to Connecticut. It's looking good.
Our lives are all planned out. We're living the dream, Mark.
Living the dream, Mike. I agree with you. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.